guys, I'm Lauren and this is my channel. So before we get into this video, I'm just going to really quickly, like less than a minute, say basically my idea for this channel was it could be like a digital diary. So each episode is going to be like a dear diary and blah blah blah, like, and just sort of being really real with you guys, and just vlogging my life. And I always was so like, oh, it needs to be, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, like the video needs to be perfect, if not, like I can't post it, blah blah blah. But I just want to be real and just have fun with it. And yeah, I've always dreamed of a sort of career in this sort of direction. So yeah, I'll just be posting things I love. And yeah, anyways, on today's diary entry, we are going to be talking about books that I've read, my opinions on them, and yeah, let's get started. Okay, so quickly, before we get into the books, I forgot to say the name of the books for some of them, so I'm going to put a random clip in front of them of me saying the book name. So that's very awkward of me, but it's fine. Okay, so I don't know if anybody else can relate, but I have a really bad memory. So for my first book, it's the first book I ever read. You probably just got a little sip over there, but it's the book that got me into reading. So it is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This was the first book I ever read, and honestly, it was so good. At the time, I think I was probably 15 when I read this. So, and it was honestly so good. So I definitely recommend, if you're a young teen, that this book is just honestly perfect for if you're trying to get into reading. It's like a murder mystery sort of vibe. Honestly, yeah, I would rate this really highly. And obviously the series came out as well, which is really cool. I have watched that. I would say the book probably better than the series, but the series was still good, but I'd say probably the book is better. But I feel like that's the case with many things. To be honest though, and I'm going to be really honest here, I don't remember who done the crime. Like what the whole book was about, trying to figure out who did it. I can't remember. And I don't know whether, like, I'm pretty sure that's just my bad memory, or maybe it wasn't very clear. I cannot remember. I mean, it was a couple years ago that I read this. But yeah, I wonder if anybody else has sort of thought the same thing. Like, I can't remember. Even now I'm trying to think about it and I just honestly can't remember. But it is a really good book. So if you're looking to get into reading, you like crime, mystery, and young teen, sort of younger audience, sort of want this one. Would be good. Not gonna lie though, in like the episode where I think it's Andy and she's like walking up the road, it was kind of scary, but it wasn't too bad. But so just quickly, while we're on the subject of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, the second book in the series, Good Girl, Bad Blood. I have read this, and so this one is actually on a podcast she starts, I believe. Again, it was long ago I read this. But yeah, it was really good as of what I can remember. But I will be real with you all. I have not read the third book. I don't know, maybe it's also, don't mind how yellow the book looks, but I don't know, maybe it's because like it's a very thick book and it's probably long. And I've just also heard that it's really scary. And obviously, like, I didn't really want to read it because it was scary, but now I'm thinking maybe it'll be good, like, because it might be interesting. But I don't know whether it's like thick books, they might like throw me off because I'm like, it's gonna take ages to read that and I won't be able to read any other story. But yeah, I haven't read this one yet, but I have read these two, and I would definitely say if you're just getting into reading, I would read these. Let's just take a moment for this book. This book, stop, because every time I talk about it, I actually get teary. Like, I'm literally getting teary right now. This book is so good. Now, there is some mixed opinions about this book, and can see where both sides are coming from. I would say personally for me, I loved this book. Sorry, I don't know whether I'm even looking at the right bit. Personally, I loved this book. But people say that, well, and I also think that there was a lot of just like their normal sort of life, if that makes sense. And the actual thing, like the thing that happens in the story, I would say is like that much of the book. And this is just like their relationships and stuff, which I guess is like part of the story, which I would say is like part of the story, but I honestly think maybe even the like first bit where I was just telling you about them, well, not telling you about them, but just showing their life and everything is probably a very key and important thing in this book, because it gives you such a deeper understanding of the characters and their relationships. So then when the thing, like no spoilers, but when the thing at the end happens, it affects you deeply. Like after I finished reading this book, first of all, when I finished reading it, I was bawling my eyes out. Could not stop crying. I was so upset. And even like 2 weeks later, I was thinking about this book and I heard a song and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so, like, that song is so fitting for this book. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, it's generally, it is really sad. And there was even a plot twist at the end, which I didn't even know. Like, I think I knew what happened at the end, but I didn't know that that would happen. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is so sad. But yeah, recommend this book if you have the patience to find out what happens. But it's a very good book, so I really do recommend it. But I see why people might not like it though. So I did love it though, but it's also very sad. And obviously the second book, which is other people's point of view in the situation. I will admit, I've only read this much. I used to be the person that would start a book and I would have to finish the book. Like, I couldn't just leave it. But recently I've been leaving the books. But this is really good. But the reason why I haven't finished it is because I would take it places to read and I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot read this. I'm going to cry. Like, because this one basically gets straight into the sad thing. So it's like, every time I try and read it, a lot of the times it's like out and about, like, and I'm like, I can't read it right now. I'm going to be sad. Like, I don't want to be sad. So yeah, these books are really sad, but it's also like a beautiful story at the same time. So yeah, if you're looking for a cry, probably read these ones. Oh my goodness. This book is the second book I read and it is so good. If you are a lover for dystopian vibe, end of the world, fantasy, like, I don't know, this book is so good. A mix of dystopian and like romance. There's a bit of romance in this one. I think there's more in the rest of the series, but I've only read this one. It's so good. I love these kind of dystopian books. This just, honestly, I love them. I would definitely recommend this book. It's so good. I don't really know what to say about this other than it's really good and you should read it. And I'm also aware it's been like 8 minutes now and you probably don't want to listen to a person talking for this long. So this book is really good if you like dystopian, romance, powers, blah, blah, blah. It's really good. Guys, please stay on the video because this book, oh my gosh, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. It is such, I would say, not young teens. I would say probably older teens and obviously adults and everything. Because there is some scenes which are a bit like, whoa. But this book is so good. It's like on the edge of your seat, thriller, what's going to happen next. honestly, this is probably the quickest I've ever read a book. I am quite a slow reader and I've read this book so quickly. It wasn't too long ago that I read it, and I think what I also love is the size of the writing, and I think it makes it easier to read as well. But oh my gosh, I think they're making a movie of this actually, which I'm really excited about because I loved this book. And it's honestly, read this book, especially if you like thrillers and like you want a quick read, like you're gonna read something quickly. This, honestly, I read it so quickly because I'm like, I wanted to know what happened next. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more book in this video, and it is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I just realized I haven't been saying, oh my gosh, I haven't even been saying the names of the books. I said for the first two ones, I think. Oh my gosh. But The Pumpkin Spice Cafe is my current read, and honestly, I love it. I mean, I'm this far into the book, not very much, but it's honestly such like a, you know, easy, light read, and it's definitely Gilmore Girl vibes, autumn vibes, and obviously heading into winter, so I need to finish this book. But oh, it's such like a cutesy sort of vibe, and definitely if you love Gilmore Girls, the series, I would read this. So that is the end of my first ever video on this channel. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I want to thank you so much for clicking on this video. I truly do appreciate it, and it means so much to me. And I will see you guys in my next video. I don't really know how to end it though. Like, what would you say at the end of a diary entry? Signing out. I don't know. Bye. For now, I'll just say bye. Bye.